that intro, right? That's so nice.
Was a great intro.
Tell us a little bit about you. Be like, you're upcoming from LA, LA girl, and your move and everything, and some of your experiences.
Yeah, okay, where to start? Yeah, my name is LB. LB from LA, Los Angeles, South LA to be exact, South 10. That's where I grew up. That's the neighborhood I rep. But yeah, I'm actually out here right now in Johannesburg, South Africa. I came to the continent almost 3 years ago now. It'll be 3 years in June. But basically, I toured almost 8 years with Katy Perry as her lead background vocalist. And that was after many years of being in LA doing a lot of different things. But when I was traveling, I don't know, I just got to really hear the different sounds in the world, and there was a lot of cool music coming from the continent. So what was supposed to have been a sabbatical, creative sabbatical after I left touring, ended up being a whole life change and move. So yeah, now I'm here, relocated to South Africa. And what drew me down here was just like the music. I love electronic music. I grew up listening to East LA stations, Power 106 and 92.3. I know they're completely different now, but they used to be the urban stations. So in the daytime, I was listening to, hip hop and R&B, but then after 11 p.m., I would be listening to techno, and that was like my jam. So, yeah, South African music is like really cool because the pop music is house music here, and yeah, I'm just here to kind of articulate that part of my artistry, and it's been going well. So that's just a very little bit brief history of who I am and what I'm up to now.
I want to add one thing. LB put my daughter. The first time my daughter was in a music video, real video, professional video, and she put my daughter in there, and I was just like, it just made her, she had just moved out to LA, and she got a taste of the stardom, the superstar type stuff, and so it kind of made me feel like dad of the year, and that was a special moment for her, and she always speaks about that. I think she was only 8 years old at that time, and now she is turning 20 in March. So time flies, it waits for no man or no woman.
Mike, you can cut that story from the
You could cut that.
keep the mystery about myself.
I'm curious. I do, this is a kind of somewhat provocative type show in retrospect to fact or fiction. So I wanted to clear up some of the stuff about. They say that women in the industry have a much harder time to succeed. They have to be typecasted to certain roles, or they have to perform slutty functions, or do things that might not necessarily be on the morality, on the upbeat of morality in order to succeed. Have you seen any of the things, or were you possibly put in positions like that, or possibly, asked to further your career in that aspect in the industry? Because I know it can be kind of, it's not all good. It's not all gloomy, bright.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Okay, there's a saying that says you finish how you start. So if that's how you start, then you can expect that to continue throughout your career. But I know a lot of people for whom that's not true. But then I also heard stories for people for whom that is true. And at the same time, I feel like if a woman wants to use her body in a way that advances her own interest, that's her business. It's not really for me to say it's a currency for some people. But me personally, that hasn't been my particular journey. But I will say though, like guys that I've dated have maybe given me insight, into the business, or maybe told me about certain things that were going on, so I maybe had a directive because of relationships. But that's just being in an industry where you end up living and working and dating people that are also in the same line of work that you do. So I basically my whole point is it's not cut and dry. It's not absolutely yes or absolutely no. It's just a lot of different ways to look at it. For some people, or that's their currency and it helps them. And other people, my things is not.
What do you think would case if somebody was trying to go to superstar?
See, yeah, because I don't believe it's obviously it's not always the female, like you said, you know, if that's the way you want to start your career, it's probably the way you're gonna end it, but I believe like, I mean, there has to be a point where that's probably not their intent to begin with, that they're not giving any other options, you know, it's like either you do this or, you know, it's pretty much the end of growth for your career. You know,
I
so
mean, I feel like, every industry people are like that, you know?
Absolutely.
Maybe not favors, maybe bribes, you know? I mean, people get in trouble all the time for that kind of stuff, and I've heard stories, you know? But, I also know that some people for who, like, use that, like, maybe if they don't have the talent, it's only gonna get them so far, you know? And maybe you hear about those stories because people feel like the things that they did should have gotten them farther, but at the end of the day, you still have to have something valuable that's marketable, that's commercial. So if you want superstardom, you can't get there without having talent, you know, if that's part of the thing that you do to help you advance. So, yeah, that's how I look at it.
Do you think, spin to that, do you think it could possibly be, you know, something you already have inside of you? And maybe you're willing to do these dark things or whatever, for the prize of the money and the fame, but this is something that you already